I want to get you out the door with every result from every league in under 15 minutes, so that you're more informed about what's going on in the world of sports.
Hey TJ, what's going on? I'm Chandler and this is Tiger Beat Sports.
Hey everybody, I'm Chandler Sports and this is the Sport Report.
And I'm Chandler and this is Tiger Beat Sports. Welcome to a special edition of this all crazy sports newscast.
Broadcasting from somewhere in the United States.
Hit it, Blaze.
This is the Sport Report.
Sunday, July 28th, 2019. Hey everybody, I'm Jack Esper, the all-sports correspondent for this podcast, and this is the Sport Report. Chandler was last heard from and seen in Detroit, and now he is apparently heading west and going across Lake Michigan into Chicago. We will have his next location tomorrow, but for right now, he is currently on a ferry going over there to Chicago and into Illinois. So, with that, let's head to top of the order.
In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened.
This is top of the order. Our top story comes from Milwaukee, where the Milwaukee Brewers beat the Chicago Cubs in 10 innings, 5-3. Cubs manager Joe Maddon made an interesting decision tonight by pulling John Lester in the top half of the 8th inning. Lester had only thrown 94 pitches, allowing 4 hits and 3 walks to go along with 5 strikeouts. Steve Kashek came in and couldn't record an out before allowing 2 Milwaukee runs to tie the game. Tyler Chatwood and Craig Kimbrell are each credited with a blown save. But it is Kimbrell who gets the loss after he allowed a home run to Christian Yelich in the bottom half of the 10th. Yelich's 36th home run of the year, in fact. Kimbrell then walked Tyler Saladino, and then Keston Hiura hit a moonshot to right field for his 11th home run of the season. That Hiura 2 home run was a walk-off home run, actually, and Kimbrell allowed 2 hits, both homers in fact, 3 runs, all because the Cubbies bullpen could not hold it together. Again, they haven't blown enough games to become a phrase in the With Sports phrasebook, but they're close. Look for them to be active by Wednesday's trade deadline, along with the Red Sox, who also need a closer to help their playoff chances. Now, we head to Le Tour de France, where Mother Nature strikes again. Yesterday, we heard from Sport Report cycling correspondent Tyler Corbo, who told us about the hail and landslides that stopped Stage 19 and the Tour's trajectory. Well, Stage 20 solidified who would win the yellow jersey later today. After heavy rains in the Alps, race organizers made another decision to revise the route. The stage was shortened from 130 kilometers to just 59. Italian Vincenzo Nibali was the shortened stage. Vincenzo Nibali wins the shortened stage, and 22-year-old Egan Bernal is poised to become the first Colombian to win the Tour. Thankfully, the weather didn't play any part in determining who'd win the stage, but whether who will be remembered to her having an impact on the final 2 competitive stages, as it took away the yellow jersey from Frenchman Julien Alaphilippe. But there is a chance he might not have kept Le Mali Juan, as he is not the best mountain climber. Sadly, a Frenchman has not won the yellow jersey since 1985. This has been one of the most competitive tours in recent memory, and tomorrow it will be confirmed that a young rider wins the Tour in just his 2nd Tour appearance. It looks to be his teammate and defending champion, Geraint Thomas. Amazing by Team Ineos to place 1 and 2 from the looks of it. The final stage, Stage 21, goes to the Paris and the Champs d'Elysée. Traditionally, it's a ceremonial stage, so don't expect anything major for the general classification. That starts at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on NBCSN, with continuing coverage from Le Tour reaches Paris around 1:50 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll have Tyler on tomorrow to review Le Tour. Well, now that Le Tour has been covered, let's head over to Major League Soccer.
Ibrahimovic, it's lovely from Zlatan, it's fantastic! Oh, he's still got it! Rolling back the years! Rooney, time to run, Antonello's out, Rooney, oh, it's in the net! It is in the net!
The man who has given DC all the momentum down the playoff push has done it again!
Now for Major League Soccer. There were 10 games for the MLS last night, and out of all of those, almost half were scoreless. New England 4, Orlando 1. Gustavo Bo hits a 3rd-minute shot here for New England as he makes their lead 1-0. Then, in the 46th minute, New England scores another goal as Christian Penilla right-foots the ball into the center of the box. Then in the second half, New England scores another goal off of a PK as Carlos Gil scores a penalty. He hits this in the top left corner. Then in the 74th minute, Diego Fagundes scores another goal for the Revolution. He hits this goal also in the top left corner. Then finally, in the 76th minute, Orlando City scores a goal as Tesho Akalindi scores a right-footed shot very close to the top right corner. New England ultimately dominated this game, and it showed as they scored 4 unanswered goals through 75 minutes. New York Red Bulls 2, Columbus Crew 3. In the 14th minute of play, New York scores a goal as Brian White heads the ball into the bottom right corner. Then, following that goal, in the 15th minute, Columbus Crew scores a goal as Luis Argado immediately takes the ball right after the face-off and scores in the bottom right corner. Followed by that, in the 45th minute, Columbus Crew gets another goal from Pedro Santos, who uses his left foot to shoot the ball in the top left corner. Then, in the 59th minute of play, after halftime, Luis Diaz gets a yellow card after the refs go to VAR and found that there was a penalty kick drawn in box. New York ultimately scores this goal as Daniel Royer converts the penalty. Then finally, in the 83rd minute, Columbus Crew scores to seal the game as Pedro Santos hits a bottom left corner shot from his right foot. Montreal Impact 4, Philadelphia Union 0. Montreal completely dominated this game as they score immediately in the 3rd minute as Lassi Lapalainen scores a right-footed shot into the center of the box. Then, in the 35th minute, Montreal gets another goal as Origi Okawando scores a right-footed shot into the top right corner. Followed by that, Montreal gets a goal right before halftime as Lassi Lapalainen scores another goal in the bottom right corner. Then finally, in the 65th minute, Montreal caps out at 4 as Origi Okawando again scores a right-footed shot into the bottom left corner. Toronto FC 2, Cincinnati FC 1. In the 15th minute of play, Toronto FC gets an amazing headed goal as Nick DeLune scores a header backwards into the goal right next to the goalkeeper. Following that, in the 49th minute, Toronto FC gets another goal as Jose Altidore scores a right-footed shot from the outside of the box. Then in the 57th minute, Cincinnati tries to come back as Emmanuel Lisadima scores a right-footed shot in the bottom right corner. Cincinnati tried their hardest as best they could for those last 30 minutes, but they could not come up with anything as Toronto FC closed this game out. San Jose Earthquakes 3, Colorado Rapids 1. This game was not looking up for Colorado ever since the game started. Starting right at the first minute, as Lalas Abubakar scores an own goal for San Jose. Then in the 33rd minute, Valery Kazashvili scores a right-footed shot into the bottom right corner. Then late in the 82nd minute, San Jose gets another goal as Shea Salinas scores a right-footed shot in the center of the box down to the bottom left corner, where Tim Howard went the wrong way. Colorado eventually scores at the last second as Diego Rubio hits a left-footed shot from in the center of the box into the top right corner. Portland Timbers 4, LA Galaxy 0. Goals were scored late in this game as Portland gets their first goal in the 36th minute. Christian Paredes scores a header from the center of the box into the bottom right corner. Then following that in the 40th minute, Portland gets another goal as Diego Valeri hits a right-footed shot from the left side of the box into the bottom right corner. Then, in the 80th minute, Christian Paredes hits another shot from into the center of the box to the top right corner to make the game 3-0. Then, following that goal in the 83rd minute, Efrain Alvarez for LA Galaxy is shown the red card for violent conduct. The play was called a foul as he slide tackled one of the Timbers from behind right as they got the ball. Then, responding to this, in the 87th minute, Jeremy Ibobisi scores a header off of a cross inside the yard box in the center of the goal. Houston Dynamo 0, Seattle Sounders FC 1. Seattle wins this with one goal as Jordan Morris scores a right-footed shot into the bottom right corner at the 58th minute. No other goals or key events happened after this, and the Seattle Sounders hold on to take the win. Chicago Fire 0, DC United 0. FC Dallas 0, Real Salt Lake 0, Minnesota FC 0, Vancouver Whitecaps FC 0. Now that the soccer pitch has been covered, let's head over to the outfield grass and see what happened in Major League Baseball.
Derek Jeter with one of the most unbelievable plays you will ever see by a shortstop. Ortiz into deep right field. Back is Sheffield. We'll see you later tonight.
Someday the Chicago Cubs are going to be in the World Series.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Holy cow!
Now from Major League Baseball.
Arizona Diamondbacks 9, Miami Marlins 2. Alex Young has a 2.51 ERA for the Arizona Diamondbacks this season. His record is 4-0. Jordan Yamamoto has a 3.64 ERA for the Miami Marlins this season. He drops to 4-2. Atlanta Braves 15, Philadelphia Phillies 7. Max Fried has a 4.21 ERA for the Atlanta Braves. His record is now 11-4. Zach Eflin slips to 7-11 for the Philadelphia Phillies. Baltimore Orioles 8, Los Angeles Angels 7. Ty Butterly has a 3.12 ERA for the LA Angels. His record is lower to 6-5 though for them. In a wild game tonight, which neither side was leading by more than 2 runs at any point, it came down to the 9th inning. The Orioles led the Angels 8-6 entering the 9th inning, and then in the home half of the inning, Justin Upton had a chance to win the game with the bases loaded and 2 outs. But he popped up to second and ended the game. Orioles by 1. As I mentioned earlier in top of the order, Brew Crew 5, Cubbies 3. Cleveland Indians 9, Kansas City Royals 1. Mike Clevinger has a 3.28 ERA for the Cleveland Indians now. He pushes his record to 5-2. Glenn Sparkman now with the defeat stands at 3-7 for the Kansas City Royals. Cincinnati Reds 3, Colorado Rockies 1. Anthony DeSclafani has a 4.01 ERA for the Reds now. He improves to 6-5, but Chichi Gonzalez falls to 0-3 for the Colorado Rockies. Seattle Mariners 8, Detroit Tigers 1. Marco Gonzalez has a 4.21 ERA now for the Seattle Mariners, and he is 12-8. Tyler Alexander, however, has a 3.86 ERA now for the Detroit Tigers, but he dropped to 0-1. Houston Astros 8, St. Louis Cardinals 2. Garrett Cole has a 2.94 ERA for the Houston Astros this season. His record is 12-5, while Daniel Ponce de Leon has a 3.76 ERA for the St. Louis Cardinals now. He drops to 1-1. LA Dodgers 9, Washington Nationals 3. Clayton Kershaw has a 2.85 ERA now for the Los Angeles Dodgers. His record is 9-2. Joe Ross drops to 0-3 for the Washington Nationals. Chicago White Sox 5, Minnesota Twins 1. Ivan Nova betters his record to 6-9 on the year for Chicago White Sox. Martin Perez slips to 8-4, however, for the Minnesota Twins. Boston Red Sox 9, New York Yankees 5. Eduardo Rodriguez has a 4.13 ERA this season for the Red Sox. His record is 13-4, while CC Sabathia has his record lowered to 5-6. The Red Sox continue to score versus the AL East leaders, as they now have placed 8 or more runs versus the Yankees in 6 consecutive games, which is still the longest streak in this rivalry. New York Mets 3, Pittsburgh Pirates 0. Steven Matz betters his record to 6-6 for the New York Mets. Trevor Williams, with his loss, makes his record 3-4 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Mets pitcher Steven Matz did throw a complete game, allowing only 5 hits while striking out 7 Pirates in the process. San Diego Padres 5, San Francisco Giants 1. Cal Quantrill has a 3.57 ERA for the San Diego Padres this season. He pushes his record to 4-2, while Sean Anderson now stands at 3-3 for the San Francisco Giants. Toronto Blue Jays 10, Tampa Bay Rays 9 in 12 innings. Daniel Hudson has a 2.74 ERA this season with the Toronto Blue Jays. He improves to 6-2. Emilio Pagan has a 2.11 ERA for the Tampa Bay Rays. He falls to 2-2 though. In the 12th inning, Teoscar Hernandez hit a walk-off 2-run home run to give the Blue Jays the victory against their AL East rivals. With the loss, the Rays are now 8.5 games behind the Yankees, and in 3rd place, rather than 2nd, in the AL East after the Red Sox victory earlier yesterday. This game had 7 home runs, including 2 by Hernandez. And in the final game, Oakland Athletics 5, Texas Rangers 4. Homer Bailey moves up to 9-7 for the A's, and Adrian Sampson falls to 6-6 for the Rangers. That is the Sport Report for Sunday, July 28th, 2019. For now, I'm Jack. Do you want to contact Chandler with sports? Have thoughts on sports or questions about advertising on the Sport Report? Find us on Twitter or Instagram at SportReportCWS for either social media site.
This podcast is copyrighted by the Sport Report for viewers to understand sports from a news reporting basis. Any other use of this podcast, Sport Report logos, or anything associated with this podcast without the express written consent of Chandler with Sports is strictly prohibited.